So usually my co-star and I, after a night of sweating it on the boards, go out for a dinner and then we go home and we fuck. This time he's like, Laura's in town. She's on her way out to location. So I'm gonna hang out with Laura tonight. I lose it. I mean, I lose it in a way that is comical when I look back on it now. But I am just I am wild with jealousy to the point where my ex lived in Venice on the canals, had a really beautiful house. I drove there.
Sure. I think we all saw that coming.
In the middle of the night.
Sure.
Because I'm empty inside. I'm seeking validation outside of me.
Sure.
And I need to keep that situation safe. Mm-hmm. My ex has a really ugly house on the Venice Canal. And ugly.
Did that help at all, by the way?
No. And all the curtains are drawn. So I'm livid. This is awful. I crawl in front of the Venice canals and I'm crouched down in front of the house watching the curtains and going, I know Laura Dern's in there and I know they're fucking. And I see the silhouettes crossing back and forth and it's not like at the time I have no idea that I'm being dysfunctional. It was like, I know I'm being crazy and I don't care.
So you did know you were being dysfunctional.
What?
Or are you making a difference between crazy and dysfunctional?
I knew that I was doing something that was not wholesome and ethical.
Okay.
So I'm crouched down and I'm like looking at the silhouettes. I see them drinking wine and I see them moving back and forth. And I'm crouched down and it's cold and it's in the middle of the night. And all of a sudden I hear hissing sound. And I'm like, fuck, it's the middle of the night. I turn to the left. I see a possum with like 7 babies attached to her.
Oh my God.
And I'm in the way of her getting to wherever she needs to go. And she's like, ah! So that scares the shit out of me. Like my blood runs cold. I run to the back of the house. Now those houses in Venice from the back, it's just a garage, but you can see a bedroom window.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in my car. Mm-hmm. I'm watching the bedroom window. Sure enough, I see the silhouette. And then all of a sudden, what looks to be the silhouette of Laura Dern opens the curtain to look outside. And I panic. And I back up super quick to get out. And in my backing up, I hear the sound of a headlight breaking in back of me. And I flee. I flee the location.
Hit and run.
I just leave, I hit, and I run. So I don't know whether or not I busted Laura Dern's headlight. It could have been her car. So if Laura, you're watching, I'm sorry.
By the way, whenever anyone says an asteroid is going to pass close to Earth, it is the biggest bullshit clickbait because you click on it and it's like, yeah, it's going to come within 2.5 million miles of Earth. So I want to meet the person whose relative value of close is asteroid coming close to Earth. It's like I almost dated January Jones because I saw her on the street once at Larchmont. Right. Yeah, it's not even that. If the person writing that article is like, January Jones and I are engaged, and you're like, how? Well, we made eye contact. It's not.
And Mulan comes to me sobbing and says, Mommy, Justin voted for Trump. Oh my God. He voted for Trump. The guy was in a tent with for 3 weeks. He voted for Trump. And it became a huge family hysteria. And Mulan was saying, I want to break up with him right away. And then I was saying, no, you can't do that. You can't break up with somebody because they're politics. You got to talk it out. And you've got to bridge the gap. And I tried to, I was arguing for her to stick with him. And then he came and visited us like a week later or a couple weeks after the election. I couldn't even look at him. Michael had started calling him Rolf, the Nazi Sound of Music. He's like, when's Rolf coming again? Anyway, And then finally, we decided on the next visit in December that we would talk to him about it. The whole family, because we were saying we have to talk about it. We started talking about it. And we found out that he was much more right-wing than we ever thought. Like the first thing he said is, well, I can't vote for Hillary because she's part of a pedophile ring run out of a pizza parlor.
Oh.
Yeah. And then there was a whole crazy night, that the whole conversation, and Mulan got really upset, and she stopped the conversation with everybody by yelling out, I'm having my period and it's a really heavy flow. She yelled that at the dinner table, which shut up everyone. And then she broke up with him. And then after that, Justin was never mentioned in the house again. It was like this horrible episode of Justin.
I've been reading Midnight Sun, the Stephanie Meyer novel. It's Twilight from the perspective of Edward Cullen. And I know it came out a long time ago on the internet, but it wasn't approved by her. So I didn't read it because I have respect for authorship and rights of ownership. And then I read it, and I'm telling you, it's a fucking hoot. First of all, they never bone. They never bone.
Not even at the end?
No. All they do the entire time is talk about how great it's going to be and how amazing it's going to be and how great everyone smells and how sexy it is and how the smells. And then they get married. Well, at the end of Midnight Sun, they're not even married. But we know from the Twilight Saga, 4 books in, they have sex and it's great. That's basically it. It's like a huge porno lead up and it's great. It's great, Jamie. You don't need to know any more than that. It's great. No, actually, I would like to know a lot more than that. He's a vampire. His whole skin is like marble. Like every time she touches him, he's hard like marble. But we never get to hear about his penis being hard like marble. And we never get to hear about how it's always hard. Like it's never a thing. Like it's not satisfactory.
I just see out of the corner of my eye, there's a woman in this giant hat, like a Boss of the Plains hat, and this like cape, like a costume. And I hear, as I'm walking down the steps, I hear, just what the fuck is wrong with my car? And I was like, I know that voice. That's Faye Dunaway. So I was like, oh my God, that's what I love about being, I'm like, there's Faye Dunaway, ladies and gentlemen. At like 11 a.m. on a Friday morning, opening day, Slumdog Millionaire, Faye and I know what's up. We know, you know. And so I was like, I love that about being in Hollywood. You're gonna just like, there she is. So I go in and I get something to eat and the concessions, and I go into the theater. And at the theater, they have assigned seats. And so, as we know, and there are like maybe 3 people in the theater. And my seat was to be right next to Faye Dunaway because I see her in the thing. And like, of course. But, and I promise, this sounds like it's like a terrible, like it would be in a movie or like about like a Sunset Boulevard kind of like, oh my God, a movie about Faye Dunaway. She had on either side of her the trades laid out. She had like Variety and, you know, Hollywood Reporter laid out on either side of her, like staking out her territory.
Oh my God.
I mean, that's like out of a bad movie. The star that has the, you know, the Hollywood beat next to her. And I was just like, oh my God.
I'm getting to feel like a mother through my relationship with my Instacart delivery people. Like this teenage boy, and I don't know if he was a teenager, but his picture was really, really young. And I could just tell by the emojis that he was a teenager. And I asked for a head of iceberg lettuce. Iceberg lettuce is back. I don't know if you guys know this, back in style. One of those 70s vegetables that's just all water. Turns out that's good for you. So he texts me a picture of a cabbage and he goes, "Is this okay?" And I said, "No, that's a cabbage."
Oh my God.
An iceberg lettuce. And he said, "Well, they're out of iceberg. Do you want this instead?" And I said, "It's 2 different things." And he said, "Oh." And he said, "What's cabbage for?" And, you know, as a mom to him in that moment, I know now what it's like to be a mother when your kids ask you questions that you're not ready to answer. I don't know what cabbage.
Change. Oh, yeah, sure. Makes us so